Hey, it's Jack, and today I wanted to talk about rejection. Now, this is a very important subject because a lot of guys avoid going out and approaching girls because they fear rejection. But I wanted to cover this topic today to tell you that rejection is perfectly normal. So, no matter how good your game is, and I've been, in the seduction community for about 18 years now, no matter what you learn, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that will help you avoid rejection. Okay, even a guy with very good game will get rejected, about half the time. So don't worry about it. It's gonna happen. Go up to the girls you want to go up to. Rejection is gonna happen, no matter what. It's just part of the game. And a lot of guys try to do whatever they can to avoid it, because it'll make them feel bad, or because, they just don't want a girl telling them, you're not worthy, or that's what's in their head. But you shouldn't see rejection that way. You should see it as something that comes along with, just about anything. So if you look at these basketball players or baseball players or athletes, nobody has a percentage higher than, I think, like 60% is, their shot percentage. Or if they're great at shots, or let's say at hitting the ball, then they're deficient in some other area. So don't worry about the rejections, because you can't pull off, all these perfect approaches that all these seduction gurus are saying, and they're selling all these bullshit systems that say, if you buy my system, you're not going to get rejected. It's not true. I've tried everything under the sun. Believe me, been there wanting to avoid rejection, and there's no magic bullet, there's no system, there's no boot camp, there's absolutely nothing that will help you avoid rejection. You should just learn to accept it as part of the game. You're not going to be liked by every girl you approach. Just like if 100 girls came up to you and approached you, you're not going to like every one of those girls. You'll probably reject over half of them. So it's the same thing. And a lot of the rejections, a lot of times, have nothing to do with you. They have more to do with how the girl is feeling in that particular moment. And I talked about that in the previous video with the emotional versus logical state. And you should definitely check that out. I'll try to have a card here from YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, then I'll try to link to the video in the comments or something. Anyway, that's the point I wanted to make. You're not going to get every girl. There is no system. And you should just accept it. That's the normal thing. Everybody gets rejection. And typically, when I say rejection, I'm not talking about the girl slapping you or pouring a drink on your head or something crazy like that. Most of the time, that stuff is stuff, you have in your head because of movies or stuff you imagine. Most girls, when they reject you, they'll be very nice about it. They'll say, no thanks, or they'll say I'm busy, or I'm not interested, or you'll typically hear I have a boyfriend right away. That's the most common one. Sometimes they'll ignore you, which I don't think is that bad. And it's very, 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 very rare that a girl will, have some kind of very bad negative response. I think the worst I've ever gotten is, like fuck off or something to that nature. Or, maybe you'll get called a creep or something, but that's like, very, very, very freaking rare, like I said. And to get an understanding, when I say a rejection, I basically mean they don't give you their phone number. So if you approach 30 girls, you'll typically, with good game, so you're not a newbie, you're not just starting out, or maybe I would say you'd have to be a little more advanced. You typically get 10 to 15 numbers. And if your approaches are really hardcore, you'll get less numbers. By hardcore, I mean you're making these approaches that have very little chance of success. So let's say you're going up to a girl that's, out with her mom, and you approach her. Now, the girl will feel kind of like weird about it because she's in front of her mom. And even if she likes you, the chance of that approach going down with you getting her number or something is low. I'm not saying you can't do it, and you should still take that approach because you might not see that girl again. And I've had approaches where I went up to the girl and her mom was there, and her mom was very happy for the girl. But, you're going to have approaches where the girl is just going to be like, this is my mom. She's going to, act kind of weird. It's going to be kind of awkward. So you'll go on in your little way and approach somebody else. But yeah, that's just, if you take hardcore approaches, your percentages will be even lower. So if you're just not taking the easy approaches, like a girl is sitting by herself, that would be a really easy approach. A hardcore approach would be a girl is with her 4 friends at a cafe and they're sitting down and you're coming in off the street. That's going to be a hardcore approach because not only are her friends there, but everybody in that cafe starts to look at you as soon as you talk because you're standing up talking to a table, and it's just going to make it that much more awkward, and you'll feel more of the social pressure. She's going to feel a lot of the social pressure, and this is where girls will typically be like, oh, I have a boyfriend, or maybe one of her friends intercedes because her friend can see that, the girl is just not that comfortable. Sometimes, though, what's great is the girl will say, no, this is good. This is okay. I want to talk to this guy. But like I said, low probability. Should you still do it? Yeah. Especially if you live in a big city and the chances of you seeing that girl are 0. You shouldn't care. That's the great thing about this. It'll teach you not to care. And I want to make a comparison here. The very first approach I did was before I knew anything about the community. I was in high school and I was just such a freaking wuss. I was such a dweeb. But I was a senior in high school, and I would pass by this section where there was this really super cute girl. Super cute. And she was a freshman, and she would look at me, kind of checking me out every day for about 3 weeks, up until I summoned the courage to go up and talk to her. And I just kept imagining all these scenarios in my head, like crash and burn scenarios. Like, I'm going to go up to her. She's so cute. I'm going to say something stupid. She's going to reject me. And yeah, it was the dumbest thing ever because, finally I did approach her and it went very well. And even though I was sweating profusely and I had, my stomach just knotted up and I was in pain. I don't know why. I was very nervous. My voice cracked several times as I was talking to her. Said, hey, do you want to maybe get there and, go to a movie? And then my voice cracked again. It was really crazy. But I went up and I got her number, and we actually did end up going on a date. I fumbled it, no worries, but at least I approached her. And this is the point I want to make. Sometimes you'll have a girl that you really, really, really like, and you just don't make an approach. And then you'll definitely regret it. I regret some approaches I didn't make. And I don't regret the ones I did make because, I approached, there was nothing more I can do. And, there is a bit of randomness to this. The girl will also decide if she wants to talk to you or not. So as long as you make the approach, that's what's important. It's what happens afterwards, not that important, but it is important that you make that approach. And I say that not just because it's important for that particular girl, but it'll give you the confidence for future girls that you talk to or future women. And sometimes, let's say you do see your blueprint girl one day, like the girl looks exactly as you like her to look. She has exactly the hair color, exactly that look, exactly the body that you like. Well, you should go up and approach her because you never know. And a lot of times those girls will be very receptive to you. You just won't know because you're not approaching them. So definitely approach them. Like if I told you, hey, you can have that girl if you approach 30 other girls, how quickly would you make those approaches? How quickly would you get the no's out of the way? Very quickly, right? Because you know that if you get 29 no's, you'll get one yes, and that'll be the girl that you really like, that looks exactly like you would like her to. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, share it. And yeah, I guess the too long didn't read version is rejection is perfectly normal. You're gonna get the rejections. Thanks for watching.